How's it going, everyone? My name is Michael SK, and welcome back to Steins Linear Bounded Phenogram Kurisu's story. So far in the story, we've seen the perspective through Kurisu of Okabe going batshit crazy due to the death of Mayuri. However, the events that we're very used to seeing in the original Steins Gate are not playing out exactly the same here in this story, which is kind of interesting. And we're seeing a lot of characters kind of intertwined that we never thought we would see in a, main story type of sense. Now, I know back in Steins Gate 0, we saw Ferris's butler interact with, the entire cast, but that wasn't exactly story related. That was some goofy nonsense in the background. This seems like some important shit that really adds on to stuff we, could not have figured out any other way. Or something else, I don't know. And somebody pointed out in the comments of the previous episode that the professor that Ferris's father and Kurisu's father, who apparently knew each other, their professor back in the day was most likely someone we know. And that someone is probably Suzuha. That or that hairstyle is very common, or at least coincidentally common in that case. According to Yukitaka Ojisama, this is what happened. While his manager buddy was in a bar thinking of a plan, a man bound in rope suddenly appeared lying on the ground out front. This man showed signs of severe physical trauma and was trembling in fear. I forgot, they got one of the rounders. As they interrogated him, he started to talk openly about being a rounder. The one who brought the man to the bar was a woman with braided hair. Yeah, alright. I guess maybe it is coincidentally common in these cases. According to the barkeeper, she took off on a bicycle without so much as a word after she dropped her captive off out front. The identity of this woman is unknown. Well, we know it, but whatever. Regardless, this provided us with new information about the Rounders. Given that the woman offered him up like a present, it's possible that it may be a trap. However, still, the man revealed that the Rounders are divided into independent groups, completely unaware of the other Rounders' operations. The captured Rounder also told us that someone named FB is in charge. FB doesn't give the Rounders orders directly, instead choosing to operate through their underlings. Their objective originally was to secure an old PC called the IBN 5100. Now, this is all stuff we know, but again, through Kurisu's perspective, this is all very interesting. As of yesterday, the man told us a special Rounder task force from France had entered Japan. Their objective was to raid the Future Gadget Laboratory, securing the Time Leap machine and its developers. As for the captured Rounder, his division was told to spread across Akihabara to prevent said developers, namely we lab members, from leaving the city. He also confirmed our fears. Mayuri and Hashida had been captured by the Rounders and taken away, though the man doesn't know exactly where.
君たちの作ったタイムマシーン、タイムリープマシーンか。そちら別動隊が確保する予定だったそうだよ。
But it wasn't, right?
ただ、警備会社に知り合いがいてね。大檜山ビルは警備させている。それで様子を伺っていたのかもしれない。
Which means coming to Fairsun's home was the right choice. Staying at the lab could have led to a confrontation with the Rounders coming to take the Time Leap machine. I shudder thinking about how that encounter would have ended. Ferris was driven to tears by her father's story. It doesn't seem like she can just stand by knowing that her friends are in danger. But it seemed like she had no idea what to do. I think out loud, knowing full well how difficult that would be. We don't have anywhere close to the amount of information we'd need. We don't even know if this FB is in Japan or not. I really don't know what good him being around would be. he'd probably just crack some stupid-ass jokes, but even then, comedic relief, we definitely need that now. I know I'm asking for the impossible, but I'm sure that Hashida's excellent hacking would be able to find us a loophole. That's actually a good point. Why didn't I think of that? Hacking isn't solely about remotely accessing a device or source of information at the computer network. Alright. There have been so many fucking mistakes in this game. It's about seeing through the opponent's security or passwords, and outwitting someone else to find a route in. In that sense, Hashida might have been able to come up with a unique approach for the mess of a situation we're in, one that would defy the Rounder's predictions. But he isn't here. It's ironic that we need Hashida's skills in order to find Hashida himself. His contributions to the Time Leap Machine were immense. He was a necessary component to our lab, just in a different way than Okabe. Yeehaw, brothers. I try to brainstorm, but can't come up with any good ideas. Excuse me. Yukitaka Oji-sama picks up the phone once more.
どうやら今の僕たちでは手に負えない事態のようだ。
In a way, he sounded a little defeated, but his expression was not that of someone who had given up.
パパ、どうするの？
ちょうどいい。ルミホにも改めて教えておこう。自分ではどうしようもないときは、誰か信頼できる人間に力を借りるのがビジネスの鉄則だ。ちょうど僕がついさっき元締めに力を借りたようにね。人間はその個人だけで完結した存在じゃない。一人の人間の周りには、その人間を取り巻く人々がいて、社会があって、歴史がある。その人間が過去から積み重ねてきた経験も、周囲にいる人々も、生まれ育った環境も、全部ひっくるめてその人になるんだ。道を示してくれた教授がいて、正一がいて、ルミホがいて、この秋葉原の街があって、今ここに僕がいるようにね。
Yukitaka Oji-sama continues to say that this is the same for CERN and the Committee of 300. No matter how powerful of an entity each may be, they are not completely disconnected from the rest of the world. At least some of their number must have family members. They must have connections to their country, their land, or other human beings. Even America, for all its military might, cannot act unrestricted within the modern international society. Even the numerous dictatorships that existed throughout history have connections. However cruel a tyrant may have been, they were not always able to exert their will 100% of the time. And this is where their weakness lies. If the Committee of 300 is some kind of European organization, then that must mean that there are also Indian and Middle Eastern secret societies. Japan, China, and Russia also have their organizations and industries that can impact the international community. If those organizations can be led to mobilize in some way, even if we can't make CERN or the Committee of 300 abandon or change their plans, we might be able to restrict them into making adjustments. Yeah, fuck the system.
その結果が僕たちの望む結果につながらない可能性はある。それでも何もできずにただ座っているよりはマシだ。
And with that, Yukitaka Oji-sama started making calls. He mostly conducted his business in English, but occasionally would use languages I couldn't understand.
お嬢様、牧瀬様。
Ferris-san and I were just sitting and watching Yukitaka Oji-sama place his phone calls in a daze, but Kuriki-san's words snapped us out of our reverie.
こうしていても体力を無駄にするばかりです。今のうちに少しでもお休みください。
Easier said than done.
でも、
I can understand Kuriki-san's perspective. If Yukitaka Oji-sama intends to rely on his connections to take action, there really isn't much the two of us can do. However, given the situation at hand, I just didn't feel like resting.
クーニャン、黒木の言う通りだよ。少し休んで。
Ferris says as she pulls my arm.
クーニャン、わかってる？今自分がどれだけひどい顔色してるか。京馬と同じだよ。休まないと。
Huh? Pale? I didn't realize it myself, but if I must look pretty tired for Farrah's-san to bring it up. Now that she mentions it, I guess I did stay up all last night. I didn't even have dinner. To top it off, there's the summer heat to deal with. Coupled with the dire situation, there's a recipe for fatigue.
京馬やマユシ、ダルニャンが大変な状況なのに、クーニャンにまで何かあったらどうしようもないよ。京馬を助けるためにも、クーニャンは元気でいないとダメ。
Hearing it out loud, I finally realize how irrational I'm being. Farrah-san is absolutely right. I can't do anything for Okabe or Mayuri if I've collapsed. Reluctance, uncertainty, and hesitancy fill my heart, but I am a researcher who values reason above all else. So I should act accordingly.
わかったわ。フェイリスさん、黒木さん、ありがとう。少し休みます。
岡部様のお隣に寝室を用意してあります。ご案内いたしますので、こちらへ。
何かあったらすぐに知らせるから安心して、クーニャン。
うん、お願い。
Again, it's gotta be easier said than done to just get some rest out of everything that's happening right now. After I thank her, I follow Kuriki-san to my bedroom and...
クーニャン?
Oh, now she brings it up. Well, that's a strange new nickname. Yeah. I couldn't sleep. See, told you. Even though my body and soul are completely exhausted, my mind is still wide awake, and I can't fall asleep no matter what I do. Got any more of those sedatives? Tossing and turning in bed, I try all sorts of relaxation and breathing techniques to guide myself to sleep, but nothing works.
マユリ、明日、岡部。
Staying still only invited unpleasant thoughts. My imagination runs wild with worst-case scenarios, each one making my body stiffen. I keep trying to shake the thoughts out of my head. I sigh helplessly. All I wanted to do is help my friends, but I don't have the ability to actually do that. For now, I need to place my hope in Yukitaka Oji-sama and make sure I'm rested up when we have some leads to follow. Actually, you know what? In our entire time playing any of these Steins Gate games and going through these stories, especially in the first one, well, even in Zero, there were, of course, a lot of cases where hope seemed to not be anywhere. It was, like lives were at risk at many times. There was nowhere to run, no one that you can actually go to. But here in this world line with Ferris's father being alive, it actually seems like there's somebody that we can rely on and actually be safe with. And it's somebody who's rich and has connections because this is his city. That's insane, man. I understand that. I should understand it at least, but it doesn't help. Not at all. I'm face to face with my own helplessness, my lack of experience.
自分ではどうしようもないときは、誰か信頼できる人間に力を借りるのがビジネスの鉄則だ。
Yeah. Yukitaka Oji-sama's words from earlier echo in my head. These words were meant to explain our next steps to us, but also to give us a fair warning. There's always the possibility that we can screw up and make things more complicated. If our impatience got the best of us and we stormed out just to be captured by lingering rounders, all of Yukitaka Oji-sama's planning would go down the drain. There's really nothing we can do. Our only option is to rely on Yukitaka Oji-sama, and the best way to help him is to stay put. This is how it should be, but
私は結局何もできやしないまま。
I'm embarrassed by my own immaturity. I'm wishing for power I haven't earned like a child. People should strive to achieve whatever they can, within the range of their abilities and experiences. By running society in this way, each individual would be able to find their niche. If everybody had equal, limitless power, human individuality would be meaningless. I lived in America, where different cultures are accepted and celebrated. I know how dull a world without difference would be. But at the same time, it's also true that I haven't matured enough to simply accept my place in a rigid society.
教授や先輩なら、その未熟さも君の個性のうちだとか言うんでしょうね。未熟なうちしかできないことがあるって。
As I vocalize my thoughts, I realize something. Professors and upperclassmen? Once again, Yukitaka Oji-sama's words echo in my mind.
人間はその個人だけで完結した存在じゃない。一人の人間の周りには、その人間を取り巻く人々がいて、社会があって、歴史がある。その人間が過去から積み重ねてきた経験も、周囲にいる人々も、生まれ育った環境も、全部ひっくるめてその人になるんだ。道を示してくれた教授がいて、正一がいて、ルミホがいて、この秋葉原の街があって、今ここに僕がいるようにね。
Yeah. I sit bolt upright in bed.
そうだわ。
Just as Yukitaka Oji-sama had his connections, I have my own. While I may come from a different background and age group than Yukitaka Oji-sama, I am not alone. Papa and Mama, Ferris-san, Yukitaka Oji-sama, Kyoriki-san, my professors and upperclassmen at Victor Condria, Okabe, Hashida, Mayuri. There are many people around me, and if Yukitaka Oji-sama can reach out to people for help, I can too. It's just after 11 p.m. now, meaning it's morning in America. I quickly made a list of people I could ask for help, given the time of day. I can only come up with 1 or 2 people though. But then I realized something.
今日は確か教授の講演会の日だ。
My timing couldn't be worse. One of my former teachers at Victor Condria's Neuroscience Institute is presenting his research results to professors from other universities today. That alone is going to make him extremely unlikely to be answering phone calls or checking emails. What's worse, I couldn't even get a hold of my upperclassmen, who would normally pick up in no time. I have no other personal contacts at Victor Condria.
なんてこと。どうしてこんなタイミングに。
And then I remember something that Okabe said.
まるで世界の意志が参りの死を望んでいるようだった。
Will of the world. Time paradoxes. Is it possible that I'm also under the influence of this so-called will of the world? Okabe said that even if the Rounders did not directly attack, Mayuri will, for some other reason or another, die. No matter how many times he repeated the day, no matter how many things he tried, it was imminent. The will of the world, natural providence. Okabe told me he felt something that could only be described as fate. Is this the same force that keeps me from reaching anyone for help, no matter how hard I try? Is the will of the world, as Okabe called it, hindering my actions? No, it can't be. I refuse to accept the idea that we live in a predetermined world. The idea that our fates are set is too absurd to believe, meaning that something is behind this phenomenon, and if so, we can find out what it is and resolve it to escape this hellish situation.
問題はどうすればその原因を特定できるのか、どうすればそれを取り除けるのか。
Is it even possible for me to solve this on my own? I tightly gripped the cell phone that I used to place my calls. Try as I might, I couldn't come up with a good idea. No sooner had I caught a glimpse of hope than it faded away. If this were mere research, I could simply walk away, knowing that discovery is a slow process, but not this time.
どうしたらいいの?
Give up. That's what I do. Fuck it. I half open my cell phone absent-mindedly and see a certain word in the contacts list. Papa. I tried contacting him a few days ago, but he refused to talk to me. But right now, I need anyone's help. And if that person is Papa, then all the better. I entered his phone number and pressed call. I'd be very surprised if he picked up right now. But...
出ないか。そうよね。どうせよね、こんな時間に。それとも、私だからかしら。
Papa does not like me. No, he may as well hate me. There's no way he would answer the phone for the likes of me. I close my cell phone and unconsciously pull myself upright. I then proceed to exit the guest bedroom and gently open the door to the room next door. Oh no! We know who's there. This room is also as dark as the one previous. But from the sound of his breath alone, I knew who was in there. Aww.
Okabe. ごめんなさい。
What should I do? Okabe is so worn out. He suffered so much, for so long. I want to save him, but I don't know how. I don't know what to do for the person I love. I'm completely at a loss.
何が? 天才よ。私なんて。
I'm confident that I've been working my hardest the whole time. I've done everything I can, and have even produced results. But at this moment, none of that has any meaning. I can't make Papa happy, I can't save my friends, I'm useless to the one I love. I gently touch Okabe's cheek. Kiss him. Kiss those lips. Then rub his beard hair. I mean, what? It feels like he's lost weight somehow. He might have burned an extreme amount of calories working his brain at such a high capacity after receiving his future memories. Or maybe it's because after dashing out of the lab, he ran all around Akihabara in desperation. Either way, it's a painful sight.
ごめんなさい。私、こんなにも無力だ。何もできない。
I notice tears falling from my eyes. They land on my hand and drip down, wetting my fingertips on Okabe's cheek.
ダメ。嘆くな。辛いのは、一番辛いのは、岡部なんだから。私がここで泣いちゃう。
That's right. The one who is in most pain, who has suffered the most heartbreak, is the one who has witnessed Mayuri's death over and over again. Okabe. But that means... I don't know why we gotta look at that. An image emerges from the back of my mind. The time leap machine. The time machine built under Okabe's direction. Right now, I can't think of a way to save Hashida and Mayuri, excuse me, fuck. But what if I change the past? Ooh. What if I use the time leap machine to get us out of this situation?
ダメね。
I do not fully understand. Under what rules and logic are involved with traveling through time and changing the past? So far, through our D-mail experiments, we've learned that modifying past events can significantly change the world. However, most of us cannot perceive these changes. Actually, none of us can, except for the one man lying in bed here. All of this information comes from Okabe, the only person with his reading Steiner ability. If he were lying about this, or simply deluded, this hypothesis would collapse immediately. It's a very weak hypothesis in the first place, but what are you gonna do? that said, the reason we've come this far is because I believe in his abilities and claims. They're the basis of the time leap machine after all. Even then, changes in time are very subjective and vague, and only Okabe is capable of observing them. In other words, even if I were to change the past, only Okabe would notice. If I changed the past, my memories would be erased the moment the world changed. And if Mayuri's life were put in danger again, I would not have the knowledge to keep her from dying. Given that she's already died over and over, it seems especially risky. The bottom line is, under the current circumstances, changing the past doesn't make sense without Okabe's involvement. Without the reading Steiner, changing the past is essentially meaningless. Only Okabe can do this, which would mean the burden is entirely on him.
いずれにせよ、岡部への負担が大きすぎる。何か他の手を考えなくちゃ。
After muttering that to myself, I realize that the frustration I had been feeling just a minute ago has been somewhat alleviated. I still feel a little impatient, but it isn't clouding my thoughts anymore.
あんたの顔を見たおかげかもね、岡部。
I try to joke, but there's a ring of truth to my statement. Suddenly, exhaustion and sleepiness come crashing down on me.
戻った方が良さそうね。一眠りして状況を改善するためのアイデアを考えなきゃ。
I quietly move away from Okabe so as not to wake him up, then return to my own bedroom next door. Good night. Alright, so that's where we're going to end this one because I really don't want to get in the middle of context and just, then end it. But I'm very curious as to where everything goes next because, I mean, shit, this is all very interesting. It's something completely different than what we're pretty much used to in these sort of cases. So, yeah, unfortunately, we got to end it there. But in the next episode, we'll see what the next day has in store for us. So thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed, please leave a like, subscribe if you'd like to see more, and I will see you all in the next episode. Take it easy.